The gut guys here. About a week ago, we started this Maitake mushroom fermentation, and they're just about done. We'll be trying this for the, second time, and let you know how it turned out right after this. Welcome back. I've got a special guest with me here, Ed Perry. Ed is the guy who came across these. So Ed, if you want, give us a little insight on like where you found them and how you knew what they were.
Sure. So this is a Maitake mushroom, also called hen of the woods. You'll find them at some restaurants, and they are a polypore mushroom that typically like to grow on hardwood trees that are dying or of a very large or old age. You'll find them in large clusters. Looks like a hen's butt sticking out of the ground.
Is that why they're called hen of the woods?
Hen of the woods. It looks like a hen sitting down. It's freaking hilarious. So just a very tasty mushroom. They're like on oak trees, and you'll find them in bunches that are softball size up to 5, 10, 15 pounds at a time.
And you found these locally?
So I found these. Yep. And actually, you find the right tree, and you'll find 4 or 5 clusters around that tree.
Awesome.
And this was right in the Ashland Woods. I can't disclose the location because I'm going to go back next year because I carved them out very carefully so I can go back the following year and reharvest. But so far this season, which is just about wrapping up in the Northeast, I've probably picked around 25 pounds of this and given it out to different families and people and made recipes, and I froze about 10 pounds of it.
Well, I sure appreciate you letting me take a sample of this and trying some lacto-fermentation on it. As I've mentioned before in an original video, fermenting mushrooms is a bit tricky because they're a fungus. When you try to do a traditional lacto-fermentation, they will tend to get mushy and stringy. What I had to do was I boiled them to basically kill any flora that's already on them, and it changes the texture. It makes them more resilient to the fermentation brine. And then of course, because I killed everything, I had to go with what's called an heirloom fermentation, where I add brine from a previous fermentation that already has all of the bacteria in it. Right. I use them on the string beans just because my wife loves them, and I love them so much. We didn't want to wait because this can take upwards of 3 to 5 weeks normally.
Yeah. Okay.
So doing an heirloom fermentation shortens that down to like within a week.
Yep.
So anyway.
So how do you store the heirloom fermentation? Do you have like a set containers for that?
Fermentations in general will last for half a year or more.
Wow.
So all I do is I save the brine, throw it in the fridge in a Tupperware container, and then just use it. And you know what it's really great for? It's like salad dressing. Like a vinaigrette. Forget a vinaigrette. Take some of this brine, drizzle it over your salad. Boom. It's beautiful.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. All right, so let's get right to it. I tasted these about a week ago, and they weren't ready yet. It's been a week, so I'm going to let you be the first to taste these since they're done first time. All right, and I've given you a fork here. So just to be sterile, I've given you 3 separate forks because we're going to have as a bonus surprise. I'm going to have you try a couple of my other ferments here.
Alrighty.
Go ahead and grab that, and then I'll go in after you. Yeah.
Taste my hand now?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
It's my hand, my mouth.
It's your hand. Once it's out of the jar, it doesn't matter. All right.
It smells good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, bottoms up.
Excellent.
Texture's perfect.
Very nice, not soggy.
This is exactly what I was hoping for.
That came out nice.
Yeah. So I can definitely taste like typical of mushrooms, they taste like what you cook them in, right?
Yeah.
In this case, they taste like what you're pickling them in. And I can totally taste the garlic. I can taste the little bit of the chili pepper. It's got a good texture, kind of like good calamari, right?
Yeah.
It got just a little bit of fight, and then when
it's not chewy.
Not chewy at all. Yeah.
It was really very tender.
Yeah. So that's nice. I like that.
Nice job.
All right. Cool.
So that was about 2 weeks.
It was about a week and a half. Yeah, a week and a half. Yep. I've made these cauliflower before, but for some reason my wife swears that they're different this time, and they are now her favorite. Prior to that, the green beans were her favorite.
Yes.
So I've made these many times. In fact, I have exactly 2 half-gallon jars of this going at any given time, just so we don't run out.
Do you have like a pantry full of these things?
No, I have a bookcase with shelves full of this stuff. So why don't you go ahead and grab some of that.
Grab these. I'm not waiting. Sorry.
That's okay.
Again, nice texture.
Yeah, what I find is that when
that's nice.
When
nice
you
little tingle to it.
Yeah, it's almost effervescent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that happens because of the sugars. In the early part of the fermentation, it generates a lot of carbon dioxide, and you'll see this thing bubbling up like crazy, which is why they're in bowls. Well, plus the risk that these things will crack on you spontaneously, and it's happened.
That's a nice brand.
But yeah, they do have like a somewhat effervescent kind of feel to them. This was another heirloom fermentation, and this is because I didn't plan ahead, so I didn't have 5 weeks to really do it right.
Right.
So I took a shortcut, did the heirloom fermentation. This has been about the same as the mushroom, about a week and a half.
Yeah.
This will keep in the fridge for 6 months.
Beautiful.
How
about on the shelf? Can you shelf it for about how long do you think?
Well, you really shouldn't. What's going to happen is it's going to continue to do the bacterial process, and they'll continue to get increasingly sour to the point where, while they're perfectly fine, you probably wouldn't want to eat them.
Flavor.
Yeah. For most things, I go like 3 days if I'm doing an heirloom, 1 week minimum for just a straight wild fermentation. And then I'll judge the flavor and then let it go.
That's fantastic. You always cap it back up.
Oh yeah, and that's the beauty of these lids, right? I mean, once I put them on, like I'm not going to do it here just because for the sake of the video. But I have a little pump that goes right over this. A couple of pumps pulls the air out.
Pulls the air out. Okay.
And then you recreate the aerobic environment.
Beautiful.
We didn't see it here, but I did notice it when I opened the other jar. There's like a white film on the top. It's called calm yeast.
Calm yeast, okay.
And it grows naturally. There's not really anything to worry about. You just scoop it off. It tends to make like a film, so it's easy to scoop off.
Yep.
And you can tell it's all white. It's milky white, and it's generally very smooth. Whereas mold tends to be kind of feathery and fuzzy, and it has different colors.
So you can differentiate it too.
Yeah. So if you see that in your ferment, then chances are you want to just chuck the whole thing.
Gotcha.
But with calm yeast, don't worry about it. Just scoop it off, good to go. This has supplanted the green beans as my wife's favorite.
This is the one.
This is a spicy curry chili cauliflower.
Beautiful.
It's got smoked paprika. It's got garlic powder. It's got turmeric. It's got chili powder. It's got a bunch of things in there, and trust me, you're gonna taste it all when you put it in there, and it's got a nice little kick to it too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Isn't it great? Yeah, absolutely. I could eat this whole container today.
Yeah, you get the chili right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end. And you get that smoky flavor from the smoked paprika.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Yeah. You've outdone yourself.
This came out better than the first batch. And the first batch was amazing, but this came out even better.
Oh, beautiful. Nice stuff, man.
So Ed, I appreciate you coming down.
Absolutely.
So and again, thanks for the opportunity to try my hand at these. I'll definitely send you home with a bunch of these. I'm going to keep some for myself just because I like them. And then I'll send you home with some of these too, so you can enjoy them.
This is great stuff, Dave. I appreciate it.
Next time you find some of these, keep me on your distribution list, so I can maybe do a larger batch.
Yep, I've got a couple other mushrooms I'm looking at now too. So
yeah, cool.
Some other opportunities in the future.
All right, so thanks, Ed.
Excellent.
So thanks for joining us today. This was a follow-up on our Maitake mushroom fermentation. If you like what you see, please click that like button and subscribe, because if you don't, you're dead to me. No, literally.
Good point.
No, existential question of the day. Yeah. If you don't click like and subscribe to my channel, do you even exist?
Wow. Deep.
I don't know.
Deep.
We'll find out next time.